Graffiti really speaks to me internally. It really feels like I'm saying something. For people to recognize graffiti art as something that's a positive thing, something that moves people, something that changes people's lives. You may think that it's, we're just a bunch of thugs painting on the street and tagging up stuff. If I could get over that hurdle and for people to see the artistic value to it, that's like everything.
You can't change the fact that changes are coming.
What you running from, son? Sun still comes up.
You can't take your back, can't walk off the tracks.
I can see it coming.
I moved here in North Minneapolis in 10th grade. I was kind of a loner to begin with. I'm a child of divorce. I've moved from parent to parent, city to city, so I didn't have a peer group that I could follow along with. And graffiti was the one thing that kind of gave me acceptance because of the jean jackets. I would wear a jacket and then I got recognized. Oh, look at this guy. And immediately I had status.
Yo, what's up, Peyton?
Yo, Stun One. How you doing, man?
Pretty good. Haven't seen you since Pete Lewis.
You ready to paint today? You got a plan?
I got sketches in my book.
All right, so we got a green wall. 1-to-1 is a personal jam session that takes place at my studio where I invite other artists from the graffiti culture to come in and share in food and drink and styles and techniques and methods. It started off really low-key. Just, 1 or 2 people were gonna come to my studio and we were just gonna paint. And the more people that came through, the more that wanted to come through. We need a color scheme. I'm kind of thinking purples, man. What do you think?
Yeah, purple with orange.
Let's see what we got. It's, we got the whole shelf back here. We got all the scraps over here. That's like completely 100% free game. I provide most everything through me teaching all these classes and writing these grants. I've been able to accumulate a lot of paint. Remember these? How these used to work on old school Krylon?
Oh, yeah.
Bro.
That's why I like them so much.
I know, man. I totally miss that.
Yeah.
Like when these came out, that was such a game changer. The apex of our culture is the aerosol can, the spray can. It's a medium that was never intended to be used as an artistic tool. Matching up different colors and articulating into, an artistic object, it takes years to study and master. I don't even have a complete outline, man. I'm gonna have to freestyle some parts of this. The mid-1980s, when I discovered graffiti art, there's virtually nothing here. There was a few tags around town, so graffiti writing had existed here on a very small scale, but nobody had really been doing murals. Nobody was doing pieces, like full-out aerosol, colors, background, characters. So a lot of us in the graffiti culture, we do have morals and etiquette, and there are certain places that we deem acceptable to paint. And then you have sort of like your new jacks coming up. You find them painting in areas that even when I see that, I go, ooh, maybe not there. I'm really grateful to be a part of this culture, and I have been a part of it for 30 years. Because the popular culture has adopted it so much, I'm able to make a career based on it, because now I'm teaching in schools. Okay, good morning, guys. We are gonna recap what we've been doing for the last 3 days, and we're gonna end off with drawing what we're gonna paint for tomorrow. I've been teaching graffiti for 15, 20 years. And one thing that's been consistent through the years is a graffiti camp that we teach at Intermediate Arts. So in the beginning, we started off with my quadrilateral grid system, drawing the rectangle and then breaking the rectangle down into 3 shapes vertically. You want to try to equally space those out. If you're going to be a graffiti writer, you got to know how to write and draw letters. In order to do that, you have to learn balance. You learn that structure, the kerning of letters and the negative space, and that's what you articulate artistically. Being a graduate from the Chicago Art Institute, I've done traditional drawing, painting, sculpture, ceramics, and working with the aerosol can is by far a lot more difficult than all of those mediums put together. I majored in screen printing, printmaking. And during my time in school, I took a lot of business courses and, just kind of the whole economics about being a professional artist. Star Wars is sort of a cult classic now. Anyone who's interested in street art or graffiti writing should understand and know that video. The documentary Star Wars was the one thing that really changed my life. It helped me bridge a gap from being this artist where I had lost my inspiration, I had lost my motivation for making art, to readdressing my artistic endeavors through lettering and graffiti and spray paint. We've been doing this camp now for about 6 years. JoJo actually runs the graffiti portion called The Game, Graffiti Art Mentoring and Education. And we're on the final day of this camp. So you're actually at the point now where you can start focusing more on trying to sharpen these edges. So you want to turn the can to the edge so you get a sharp edge and the overspray comes back into your letter. I bring my students through a process of can control exercises. Let your arm just kind of go with it, okay? Start it in the black and let it rip on the outside here. Everybody has a line that they create that's a little different than the next artist, and it's those minute changes, again, in your fine motor skills, in your speed, and your distance, the brand of paint that you use, and the cap that you're using. All that, goes into an effect of how you're creating your lines. Look how the lines are thicker, the letters look a lot healthier, and they're stronger. It stands up nice. We're in North Minneapolis, Glenwood and Morgan. If you're going east on Glenwood, this wall just eventually hits you right in the face because there's an open lot right in front of it. And I just love painting here because of that reason. Graffiti is more of an enhancement to communities instead of a detriment, even though it has all of the negative connotations about it with vandalism. It just really articulates certain neighborhoods and environments. The inspiration for this piece is my daughter. So I'm using some of the colors and the likenesses of her favorite book, and I'm kind of recreating those images into this mural. The combination of all the things that I've been doing, teaching, my one-to-one, painting out in the environment, being the elder in the culture, it's almost like I'm becoming an ambassador for the Twin Cities, graffiti culture. I know originally in high school how I felt about this art form. I know how that made me feel, and I want other people to experience that.
I have always been a pyromaniac. Gunpowder is very significant and unusual. I mean, who doesn't love playing with gunpowder, honestly? It's like 4th of July every day. Just fire. I originally started off as an oil painter major, going through a whole bunch of classes. I really liked mixed media, printmaking, and just experimenting with everything got me to experiment with gunpowder. Why not? So the reason I use fire is everyone thinks it's dangerous. which it is. I've had my fair share of burns and scars, and I have all 10 fingers still, so I'm good there. But the aspect of using what you think is not a medium for artwork is what really intrigues people, and it intrigues me. There's kind of a secret to my process, and I learned after many experiments putting pressure on gunpowder is what actually adhedes the smoke into the paper and creates the image. It's like Christmas every day. I just love trying to control something that can't be controlled. Looks good. Just clean it up a little bit. I clean these really well when I'm framing them because I don't like to see the soot still enclosed in the glass. When I first started my gunpowder, it was just abstract. I really wanted to actually make an image. I mainly do landscape pieces. I enjoy actually going to the locations and taking my own photographs. One of my favorite places in the city is the Stone Arch Bridge. I have an obsession with taking images of bridges, and it's just the structure, the smooth lines. I know when I look at a photo, yes, that's gonna work. No, that's not gonna work. Because I see the straight lines, I see the dramatic effect it's gonna have, and the story it's gonna tell. I am weeding the vinyl. It is cut out in a certain way that I have to slowly peel the image away, and I'm keeping anything that is purple or the actual vinyl. That is what's going to be protected from the flames and smoke, and that's essentially what gives me my negative image. So the images are taken from a photograph, and then I have to render them in a way that I know it's going to work for gunpowder. I do have a partner in crime. They have actual laser cutters that help me produce the images. The reason I mainly use landscapes, it's something that just looks dramatic. I do the city skyline of Minneapolis, and it kind of tells a story. It looks like the city's on fire, and people really like that aspect of my artwork tells a story. I recently got accepted to be one of the 34 artists that will be represented in the new US Bank Stadium for the Minnesota Vikings. I'm very honored to have that. I don't work with a lot of prints. I like the aspect of being able to repeat the image that I have, but the actual burn marks, my ink marks, they are always different. I can never repeat, and so it's always an original, unique piece. Hey, it worked great. I know I'm not the first to, use gunpowder, but I want gunpowder and fire and smoke to be a new, exciting medium that's going to lead to people experimenting. When I'm 70, I want to look back and I want to be the girl that's known as the gunpowder girl.
What attracted me to clay was the physicality of working with the clay. As much as it may involve simply sitting at the potter's wheel, and that's what we always see projected, with clay there's so much responsibility. The physicality of moving the clay, wedging the clay, sitting at the wheel, forming, shaping, glazing, into the kiln, out of the kiln. I enjoy that physical engagement. I first became interested in ceramics when I was in high school. Exploring many shapes, many ways of working with clay, it became addicting where I wanted to try every technique in the book. It's kind of like the Wild West of just doing whatever I want all through school and try to absorb what is my favorite way of working. This is one of my favorite parts, is the carving. Because the lines start to come alive, these lines start to become sharp from top to bottom. My relationship, or thinking of it, is kind of like a carving wood almost. You can see where it's drying just about right where the clay is falling away. The carving is a great way of quickly removing material. I find the carving marks can be distracting from the overall form. Some of my work still will be left simple and round. Over time, I really felt like I needed to engage the pieces after they've been thrown. The carving, the hand manipulation. Glaze formulation is very rewarding, yet at the same time very challenging, because I want to deliver a beautiful surface, but I need reliability as well. And when you have all these number of ingredients that chemically react, they can become volatile and deliver unreliable results. Glazing now is a slow process, but it's very rewarding. I think most of you know this. I like to come across, I'll level the foot. And I left a lot of clay through this area for support. I teach at Fired Up Studios and at the Minnetonka Center for Arts. The type of classes I teach, they can range from very beginner, and people also come to me who've had some experience. So this is where having that clay, the right water content, becomes so important. So I can come in and grabbing that handle, press it in there. Teaching is important because it helps me refresh my ideas. And also when I see new students coming to clay, they will approach clay differently than myself. And it keeps my mind nimble. Here's an experiment. I can't say it worked all that great, but it's just to show not all my cups work out. Some like it, not quite me, but it's good to see. I'm kind of chasing making the perfect pot or the perfect vessel. And that keeps me going back into the studio. Maybe someday when I make that perfect vessel that embodies everything that I'm thinking and feeling, maybe I'll be done, won't make any other pots. But until then, I walk into the studio every day.
Music doesn't have any religion. Music itself is a religion. It binds you with something and it relieves you with everything. I am satisfying my soul and other souls with that sound. come from a musical family in Delhi, so fortunate. When you're surrounded by art and music and musicians and artists, I always wanted to be in that atmosphere. So I think that drew me towards this profession or passion or my life. I started learning Khayal. Khayal has three components. The main component is raga, a melodic form, and second is tala, is a rhythmic form, and third is a composition or a song. And the instrumentation I'm using, these are tabla also, there is tanpura, so it's a combination of different instruments. Nowadays I perform more semi-classical music and I sing devotional music of India, whether there is a bhajan or a Sufi music.
There you go. Here's the program, and just make sure you take the stairs when you go in. Perfect. Thanks so much.
We practiced so hard for 4 months. I'm excited, nervous.
Good evening, friends. As we journey this evening, we will take you to a magical journey. Let the music bathe you and the poetry drench you. Welcome.
In that concert, my main focus is on Sufi poetry. A Sufi poetry, it's written by all Sufi poets who are from the Indian subcontinent. I'm using some of the tunes of Greek music also, Arabic tunes also, but I'm singing Indian music. When you are exposed to different styles, there's something new comes up, but you can see the all flavors into that. It's like, making a curry. You taste it has flavors of everywhere, but unique taste you find.
Thank you so much for coming, for supporting us. Thank you so much, Joy.
I'm telling you, this was an evening out of this world. Seriously. It just took me away to a different spot. It was beautiful.
One more time.
It's always great to share your knowledge with others. I taught at the University of Minnesota for 3 years. And then after that, on and off, I teach at McAllister College also. And here, I give private lessons at home.
That phrase, which is the heart of this Bhairav, hai na? So it should be very clear. Again, see.
I begin with the simple, small composition which are based on ragas, and then through those simple compositions, here and there I teach them vocal exercises, and I introduce them to different rhythmic cycles, different thalas.
It's just like a story, hai na? Nisa gama pa ma gama pa da ni da pa da ni sa re sa ni da pa ma ga re sa ma ga ba ro ke thado ri ri mai. Say it again.
My students are like my family. They are part of our family.
Thank you. It was good lesson, and you guys practice these exercises.
Okay, thank you.
Good. I'm happy. Thank you.
I believe in destiny a lot. If you trace the history of artists or musicians or any artist, they are like a gypsy. Wherever the music or where is the art, artist will go there. So my music brought me here. I didn't come.
This program is made possible by the state's Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.